welcome to Exiles TV on this cloudy, somewhat soupy Thursday morning. Throughout our viewing area, from Lafayette all the way into Plaquemines Parish, it is kind of cloudy. Really, the weather was a big story yesterday. Let me tell you a little bit about what's going to go on today. This forecast is generalized, but it is pretty safe and secure for our entire viewing area. Yesterday, we had some strong storms that popped up in different areas of the viewing area, and many of you were left with an inch or more of rain in the afternoon. Not going to be that bad today. Figure on light rain continuing throughout the viewing area for the rest of the morning. Clouds are going to be with us all days. Keep temperatures in the very low 80s or upper 70s throughout the area. And not too much rain is likely this afternoon. Overnight lows, by the way, in the 60s tonight. Tomorrow, it's going to be mostly cloudy again, from Lafayette all the way through Plaquemines Parish. It's going to stay that way through the weekend with as we get into Saturday, a few more breaks where you're going to see sunshine, but it's going to be cloudy. Temperatures are going to rise a little bit, mid-80s, overnight lows in the 60s again. And then we have got a cold front coming at the beginning of next week. Most of Tropical Storm Beta has moved out of the area and is northeast of the state of Louisiana. We're going to still see a few bands of wind and a little bit of rain, but it's not going to be wholly terrible. So that's your forecast no matter where you live in the viewing area, from Lafayette all the way to the Mississippi border. That is what's going on. Big national story, of course. The police officers who mistakenly went into the home of Breonna Taylor in Louisville, Kentucky. The indictments came down yesterday. There was only one officer that was indicted. He was indicted for the Kentucky version of reckless endangerment. I believe it was wanton endangerment, because he fired his weapon into a neighboring apartment. The other officers were not indicted. The Attorney General of the state of Kentucky, who handled the investigation through his office, and who, by the way, happens to be African American, he said, look, this is the law. I know a lot of people are yelling and screaming, calling for murder charges or manslaughter charges. Under Kentucky law, that is not applicable in this case. And it certainly doesn't diminish the death of this innocent woman who was shot by cops who went to the wrong address with a no-knock warrant. And it's a real shame. Compounding the shame of this is that people took to the streets of Louisville last night, angry about the indictment, which was decided by a grand jury. And they were, by the way, the grand jury was conducted by the Attorney General of the state. And 2 police officers were shot by one man. He is in custody. And the officers are expected to survive their injuries. But I think this is a very, very big problem. When people cry out for justice, and the justice system says, we got you, you're right. There's supposed to be justice for this young woman who was cut down in the prime of life by a mistaken warrant address. And at that point, it really doesn't become a black-white issue. It really doesn't. But when justice is done, when the grand jury hears all the evidence, when the grand jury questions the witnesses and finds that only one charge is supported against one of the officers, and the Attorney General explained it very well in his press conference, and they say, well, now we don't want justice. We want mob action. Because our idea of justice is not the idea of justice that is supported by the law. And this is a very, very dangerous position, by the way, for those who like to take that attitude to be in. It puts them in a very bad place because they are making themselves adversaries of the entire justice system, and they are letting the entire justice system know that if their demands are not met because they don't meet the statute, they don't meet the requirements of the law, then they're going to take the law into their own hands. And they're going to shoot at cops, or they're going to break windows. Eventually, any empathy for the cause that they are purporting to support gets washed away. And that's when things get really, really ugly. When people who are objective, when people who don't have any stake in the matter, lose their empathy for you and the loss you feel because of your criminal actions, then there are going to be bigger problems down the road, and sooner or later, it gets out of control. And I think we're very, very close to that. I had hoped that after the grand jury in Louisville met, that people there would say, okay, they did a thorough investigation. It was led by one of us. It was led by an African American. He is okay with this because it's what the law requires. I would have thought they would have said, maybe we're disappointed, but we're gonna agree to side with the criminal justice system and law and order. I mean, the city of Louisville understood that the mistake that was made by the city as a whole caused her death, and they paid out a wrongful death lawsuit for $12 million. As well they should have. And I don't think they're getting any credit for coming to the table and saying, look, we want to admit that this was a wrongful death and we want to settle it, and we would like to do that now so that the family can have at least something to say our daughter's death was not in vain. But my God in heaven, 2 cops shot by the same guy, 26 years old, because he didn't like the indictment the grand jury returned. And you know what? I'm guessing, maybe I'm out on a limb here, I'm guessing this guy doesn't have a law degree. I'm guessing he's probably not a prosecutor. He's not saying, oh, they erred. Here's an error. We should take it back. Here's an error they made. No, he's just saying, I don't like it, so I'm going to shoot a cop. How long do you think that goes on before it starts to get really, really, really ugly? You're outmanned, you're outgunned, you're outfinanced. How long are you going to try to poke the bear with a stick when there's no reason to do that? Absolutely none. Oh, and by the way, they want to hold somebody accountable for this young woman's death. Okay. Nobody is talking about the person who typed up the warrant and put the wrong address on it, are they? Because if you think about it, in the chain of events, that's the person who is probably most directly responsible for this fine young woman's death. Nobody's talking about who that is. Gee, I wonder why. Exiles TV will be back after this break. Stick around.
Taste the feeling. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances. Your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us this morning. In just a few minutes, we're going to have some folks from Catholic Charities for the Diocese of Greater Baton Rouge. They have been doing an awful lot of work in the community because of COVID and also because of Hurricane Laura. They're one of the real jewels we have in terms of nonprofit agencies. They do an awful lot of great things in the entire area. We've got a couple of their folks coming on with us in just a little bit. Now then, for those of you who need to take blood pressure medication, please do so now. All right, good. Now, I have seen a lot of really stupid stories in my years. This is the dumbest story I have seen in a very, very long time. Here's the headline. A BB gun was seen in a Harvey fourth grader's bedroom during a virtual class. Now, he is suspended. The kid's name is Kamari Harrison. He's a fourth grader at Woodmere Elementary in Harvey, and he was taking a virtual class in his bedroom when his younger brother came into the room and tripped over a BB gun. The BB gun was on the floor. 9-year-old Kamari leaned away from his English test, grabbed the unloaded BB gun, and put it next to his chair, away from his brother. The problem is, it was in view of the computer camera that showed the scene to his teacher and classmates. By the end of the day, he was facing possible suspension, which they did, and possible expulsion. Citing a policy based on in-class instruction that administrators relied on during the coronavirus pandemic, officials from the Jefferson Parish school system suspended Kamari for 6 days because he, quote-unquote, handled the BB gun during his virtual class. On Tuesday, a school system hearing officer upheld the suspension. Now, it happened on September 11th. He's been out of school ever since, but will be able to return to school today. In upholding the suspension, the hearing officer opted not to expel him, but it doesn't end with the hearing officer. Now, his family says that their privacy rights were violated, and he wasn't given due process by the school system. An appeal of the hearing officer's decision was rejected, and the family is now considering filing a lawsuit. Attorney Chelsea Cusimano, who represents the family, says, quote, "It's not ending here. It's our intent to explore further options." Now, this is the latest case involving weapons and virtual learning. Earlier this month, the Colorado school system suspended a 12-year-old boy for 5 days after he picked up a neon green toy gun during a virtual class. A similar incident occurred in New Jersey with a 6th grader, according to a local news media outlet. Now, Jefferson Parish School System said the incident began when Kamari was online for a language arts lesson, English class. Because he was taking a test, he muted the computer. At the same time, his brother, with whom he shares a room, was playing in the room and tripped over the BB gun, which was laying on the floor. Kamari left his seat momentarily, out of the view of the teacher. When he returned, he had what appeared to be a full-size rifle in his possession. He then put the BB gun next to his chair, but the barrel was still visible. He did not respond to calls from the teacher because he had muted the sound while taking the test. On his own behalf, the kid says, Kamari is his name, "My brother came in the room and he tripped over the gun. I moved it and put it beside me. When he was disconnected moments later from the class, he was confused and went out and told his sister. It was only after subsequent calls from the school to his parents that they learned that he had been immediately suspended and could be expelled." Now, Dad says they are treating it as if he brought a weapon to school. They told me he would be facing expulsion. His dad said he told the school officials that it was a BB gun, not an actual rifle. He said he bought the gun for Kamari and had taught the boy to use it properly and safely. The gun was not loaded, and Kamari just moved it to get it away from his brother. According to a behavior report filled out by the school staff, it's still a violation of school policy. Is your blood pressure getting high yet? Quote, Kamari presented a weapon that appeared to be a rifle/shotgun during his Google Meets classroom session. This is a violation of weapons in the classroom setting and a violation of internet usage policy. He will be recommended for expulsion as per Jefferson Parish School System policy. During a subsequent expulsion hearing, the hearing officer did not expel Kamari but suspended him for 6 days for, quote, displaying a facsimile weapon while receiving virtual instruction. The attorney, Kathy Cusimano, said that when she inquired of school officials about specific rules for distance learning, she was directed to their on-campus rules and due process policies. The kid is very upset about this decision. He was looking forward to getting to go back to school in reality as opposed to virtually. School spokesperson says, "We do not recommend on individual student or do not comment on individual student records. Regarding discipline, it is our policy that teachers and administrators may employ reasonable disciplinary and corrective measures to maintain order." Huh? What does that mean? So, for those of you who are viewing us now in Jefferson Parish, and we're on Cox Cable all over Jefferson Parish, if you've got kids that are doing virtual learning, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to open up Dad's firearm safe and put them all on the wall behind the kid. If you've got any old Playboy magazines, or for that matter, Playgirl magazines with centerfolds, I'd like you to put those behind your kid doing virtual learning as well. Because it is your home. It is not a classroom. And I do not like the idea of bureaucrats with a school board reaching into students' homes. They are doing this of necessity and as a utility. And I don't think parents should be required to make what the camera sees while they're doing virtual learning, instead of doing their actual jobs and being in the classroom and socially distancing these kids. I don't think they get to do that. I don't think they get to take this poor young man, who it's not illegal for him to have a BB gun. His little brother was playing with it and is not allowed. The little brother tripped over it, so he grabbed it and put it next to his chair. I don't think they're allowed to make that kind of decision to try to expel him from school. I think that is absolutely ridiculous. You know, a lot of kids of that age really don't like education. They really don't like school. So JP School Board, you've done a great job of taking a whole bunch of kids, including this one, and giving them a good reason to not like going to school. Absolutely ridiculous. And I hope they do sue, and I hope they win and win big. My goodness, what are we coming to in this world? We'll be right back after this break on Exiles TV. Stick around.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Cantea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Cantea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Fruge Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruge Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
TV. Glad to have you along with us throughout our viewing area from Lafayette all the way to the Mississippi border past Plaquemines Parish. A little bit of rain this morning, but we're about to run out of morning and we're supposed to run out of rain too. So if you're getting a little bit now, I'm hoping it's going to go away. Clouds are going to be with us through tomorrow, but it will keep the temperatures down. But hopefully all of that rain we had yesterday, I know I had mentioned at the top of the show that a lot of people got an inch or more yesterday, and somebody sent me a text, and they said, how about 5? You know, some areas did get like 5 inches, more toward the New Orleans area and the river parishes. It was pretty bad. Joining us at this moment, as we're going to talk about Catholic Charities of Greater Baton Rouge, we have got Lisa Lee and Vickki Maloid. They are both with Catholic Charities of Greater Baton Rouge. And Lisa, I'm going to start with you first. What is your position with Catholic Charities?
So my position is Director of Disaster Operations.
Oh, you're having a good couple weeks.
Yeah, very busy.
Very busy. And Vickki, what about you? What do you do?
My position is Program Manager. I do an early literacy program with parents who work with their children 0 to 5.
Oh, cool. I would imagine during times like this, you have been very, very busy doing a lot of this virtually during COVID.
Exactly.
And now, do you have to worry about the people that we're assisting, like in the Lake Charles area, and their kids' literacy programs?
We're still focused in Point Capee, East Baton Rouge, and St. Helena.
Very, very, very nice. So tell me, and tell our viewers, what is the mission of Catholic Charities? We know it's operated by the Diocese of Baton Rouge, which encompasses 10 parishes?
12 actually.
Parishes.
Mm-hmm. So our mission is to live out the gospel vision of Christ through service to the community. And so we've actually been around since 1964, and we provide a wide array of services to the community. We provide maternity and adoption services, adoption-related services, behavioral health counseling, Vicki's program, which is Hippie, an early childhood program. We have a foster grandparent program. We serve refugees and immigrants, and we also do disaster recovery, of course.
We're going to talk about that in just a second. I wanted to get to Vickki, though, because early childhood literacy has been a thing for me and my co-host, who isn't here today, Kevin, and we have heard that some programs are more successful than others. Are we doing really well in the diocese with our programs, with getting these young kids up to speed so they can start school at their grade level, or is it a struggle all the time?
It's not a struggle. With Hippie, because it's home instruction for parents of preschool youngsters, you're making the parent their first and foremost important teacher in their formative years, which is 0 to 5. But when the parent becomes that teacher, they get their child ready for school. They are ready. They are formed. They're ready to read. They're ready to learn. They're ready to grow. So it's an excellent program. And with PAC, we use the Vroom app, which is a part of the Bezos Foundation. Mm-hmm. They work from 0 to 5. So again, that parent gets those brain building activities. The parent is the lead teacher in that child's life, which is the most important thing.
We have heard for years now, and I think when we hear it, we're referring mostly to kids like in middle school and beginning high school, mm-hmm. that their parents aren't involved in education anymore. I'm guessing that with this kind of program, the parents stay involved with their kids' education when they get to that age group.
Exactly, because once the parents become their first teacher, then they become their child's advocate. And they tend to stay involved because they are used to the routine. They know the work, they know the words, they know what to look for.
How long has Catholic Charities been doing this?
I've been with them since 2014.
So we've got kids now that are probably in the middle grades that benefited from this.
I know for sure with my clients, I would say second grade.
Okay, so yeah, because you're starting them way before kindergarten. And how are their reading levels compared to their peers who have not had this instruction?
The reading level is above average. With Hippie kids especially, once they have at least 2 years in the program, then they're more aimed to start reading early because they're being read to every day. They're being read to at least 3 to 5 times a week. So they have that love of learning, they have that love of reading, and they want to read.
And do they have to come to you to get in the program, or do you have outreach workers in all the different parishes saying, maybe we can help your kid get ready for school?
Well, in the parish that we're at, we have home visitors. They go into the home. Our home visitors are from the community that they serve. Mm-hmm. So they know the families, and the families know them. So we go into the homes, we deliver the curriculum, we model the activities with the parent, and then that parent complete the activities with their child.
Must be very gratifying.
It's very, very gratifying.
Well, we're going to get back to that in a little bit, but disaster recovery from Laura, and I guess Beta dropped a lot of rain in that area, is ongoing. And Lisa, I wanted to ask, what has Catholic Charities been doing in terms of disaster recovery, and what kind of services are you providing? And then I want to talk to both of you all about what you're seeing. But let's start with what y'all are doing right now.
Sure, absolutely. Well, we've really taken a collaborative approach throughout the diocese for Hurricane Laura relief. Under the leadership of Bishop Duca, we actually formed with the diocese a disaster recovery task force, and it's being led by Bishop Duca, our executive director David Aguilar, Father Ryan Hallford, Father Tom Ranzino, and several other folks from the diocese. And what we've been doing is collecting donations to send to Southwest Louisiana, to the Catholic Charities over there in Lake Charles, and then also several of the Catholic church parishes. And the response has really been tremendous. We've collected over $115,000 of things of money, cash donations, of gift cards, of different supplies like generators, cleanup supplies, tarps, tools that people need to start cleaning up their homes and things like that.
At first blush, when you go in like this, we had the Baton Rouge Area Foundation, and they were talking about the Southwest Louisiana Foundation got their building blown down, so they've got people working here. And you talked about going to Catholic Charities of Lake Charles and some of the Catholic churches. Did you first have to find out if they were still standing, and did you have any places that you may have wanted to get goods or money in that you couldn't because there's no building left?
At first, yes, in a couple of places. We are very fortunate as Catholic Charities to have a national network, and so we're all very connected with each other, not only in the state of Louisiana, but nationally as well. And so we were able to reach out to the Catholic Charities there, not only in Lake Charles, but also in Lafayette, to find out like what's going on the ground. And then, our priests here took a very active role, and they started calling priests at those church parishes to find out exactly what was happening on the ground.
Have you all been helping, and I know there have been a lot of people involved in this, assisting evacuees that are coming in?
We have. So the day after Hurricane Laura made landfall, that morning, I got a phone call from our friends at FEMA that said, hey, we have people that are trying to come to Baton Rouge, but the hotels are full of evacuees. And so they were having to send people, the state, DCFS, they were having to send people to hotels in New Orleans, but people didn't have gas money to go any further. So we got the call, hey, can you get down here with some gas cards? And so we said, yeah, let's do it. And ever since then, we've been in the hotels in Baton Rouge assisting the evacuees with things like hygiene items, diapers, gas cards if they're getting into a different hotel or a more permanent housing situation, and then also just providing that support in terms of connecting them with different resources that they may not know about.
Well, we're going to continue our discussion after this break, and I think when we come back, I want to talk about what you all are seeing, what you are hearing, what you are being told by your colleagues, particularly in Lake Charles, and how much longer you think the need is going to exist to help these folks. My wife and I were in New Orleans 2 weekends ago, and every hotel was full of evacuees because New Orleans was the closest place they could go. And the same thing was happening. They were getting, they had EMS from out of town that FEMA was paying for at every hotel because these people didn't know where doctors' offices or clinics were and all that. They had people that were feeding 3 times a day, different church groups and things like that. And then, as you said, the personal hygiene items, the clothing, laundry services. Nobody ever thinks that all that's a big, big part of it. So when we come back, we'll hear about how big a part of it is. Stick around on Exiles TV. Right back with you.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. taste the feeling.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
I owed the IRS $10,000. The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. As always, a reminder, by the way, that there is a replay tonight at 10 p.m. of this very program. If you joined us a little late, or if you want to watch it again, very same channel. You can watch the whole thing in its entirety. And, of course, if you get the app, you can stream it live, and you can watch replays there, and, of course, on YouTube. In about 2 or 3 hours, it'll be up on YouTube under The Morning Exiles. It's the Pelican Broadcasting channel on YouTube. So you'll find it there. And we're easy to find. So I'm glad you're with us this morning. There's all the other ways, and you can tell your friends as well. We're having a conversation this morning with a couple of ladies from Catholic Charities of Greater Baton Rouge. Of course, Catholic Charities sponsored by the diocese, which covers a 12-parish area. We've got Lisa Lee and Vickki Maloid with us, and you've been doing a lot of relief work in Lake Charles.
Yes.
But a lot of the folks from Lake Charles started moving this way. Mm-hmm. Many of them smarter than in past hurricanes with like Katrina, and getting out early, which I think helped save a lot of lives. But the devastation, from what I hear, is pretty bad. What have you seen and heard? How bad is it?
Oh, from what we've seen and heard is complete destruction in a lot of areas, and it's going to take years to rebuild.
How do you all do your best to make sure you don't miss anybody if they're coming here because they're evacuated and they need assistance, they need personal hygiene items and things like that? It's a lot of people. How do What do you go through to make sure you don't miss anybody? I mean, are you all constantly working the phones and then going out and seeing people? What are you doing?
We are. We were very fortunate to have the technology for us to be able to work remotely even during COVID. So we're able to have staff working remotely to answer the phones like at our front desk for when people are calling and needing assistance. And then those are given to a disaster caseworker to talk to the folks about what they might need and see how we can help.
Now, Catholic Charities is funded by the diocese and by generosity of donors and people and things like that. I don't know that y'all do fundraisers. Maybe you used to, but with COVID, who can do a fundraiser? So do you ever get worried that programs are going to be cut or you're not going to be able to take care of everybody? And either of you can talk about this.
Well, I would say for my program, because of the effectiveness of it, and we've seen it, I'm not really worried about it. Budget cuts always come and things happen, but I'm just going to continue to put best foot forward until that day happens.
So how, again, your program, I know there's a lot of remote component with the parents, but a lot of it's got to be real hands-on when you get them started. What did COVID do to you?
Whew. Okay, with COVID, we had to transition to a virtual model, but because we were already doing the home base with Hippie, it made it easier. We already had the platform. We just transitioned to virtual and in-depth phone calls. And even with some, because of the technology, some parents don't have the technology that we needed to do virtual because we're in a rural parish and we can't get it in some areas. So we also had social distancing where, from one end to the other, where we would normally be close. That was the hardest challenge, but the transition went easy. The parents wanted the services that we were providing, and we also were able to provide additional concrete services, during COVID to parents that had lost wages. We were able to provide them with financial assistance, rent assistance, utility assistance, and also baby supplies, diapers and wipes and formula. So that, we were able to help in other areas.
That's a big thing is when you have a disaster that follows something like COVID, financial assistance becomes critical. I mean, some people need, a pretty good amount of financial assistance. Some people just need a few dollars, a gas card. Now, I'm going to assume that you have generous donors in the communities that hand you gas cards. Like somebody like ExxonMobil will hand you a whole deck of gas cards. But a lot of this stuff, you've got to kind of go out and it's like, okay, we hear you. You need to wash your clothes and all that type of thing. We're going to take you over to a laundromat and we're gonna pay for it. Is that the way it normally works?
Yes, absolutely. We had one lady, quick story, there was a lady who was dropped off by some family members with her children at one of the Baton Rouge hotels. Well, they took off because they left because her ride had another place to go. Well, when she got into the hotel, they said, we don't have a room for you. And so here's this lady with her two children, I think they were like 8 and 10.
Oh boy.
She had no ride, no place to stay. She had lost everything. She had nothing. And so we were able to work with DCFS and Red Cross to find her another room, but she needed a ride. So I'm like, I'm setting you up an Uber. So we set her up an Uber ride, and she was able to get to where she needed to go.
Well, that's good that you can move that quickly. What do you do if something happens outside of normal business hours? You've got an evacuee family that you're working with, and you think everything's set, and kid starts complaining at 3 in the morning, and mom feels his head, and it feels like an iron, and she knows something needs to be done, but she didn't have a vehicle. She's in a strange city. I mean, do you have on-call people to get with that immediately?
We can. Our staff are very dedicated, and so we know that, especially in disaster response, we're always by the phone, ready to assist however we can. And we have very good partners too. We're working, as I mentioned earlier, with Red Cross, with DCFS when they were running the shelters through the state, and then also FEMA. And so we're able to call on our partners, as well as some Catholic churches in the area as well. St. George Catholic Church has been very good about helping us with some of those unique requests for evacuees in the hotels, and they're able to respond really quickly.
Well, and the thing is, it's not like any of us, including you, are responding to something that's happening within 10 minutes.
Right.
This is, even with clean roads and doing the speed limit, you're still 3.5 hours from getting into the heart of it. So you've got to be able to roll almost continuously, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're making deliveries to the Lake Charles area, Southwest Louisiana, several times a week. Actually, we got derailed last week, and by the other storms, and Beta certainly kind of made us hold off for a day or two, but we're able to go multiple times a week and bring donations. We actually had to hire a part-time driver because we had so much stuff coming in, and we're talking 20-foot trailer loads of donations that the church parishes are collecting, and we're bringing over there.
That's good to hear. It's gratifying that we're hiring people to take your generous donations. That's a good thing. Vickki, I would assume that they have an early literacy program in Lake Charles that Catholic Charities there is doing that. Have they been disrupted? Are you helping them out? What's going to happen with that?
Well, Hippie is the only Hippie program left in Louisiana. It was 8, now it's just 1 due to budget cuts and funding from the state level and local parishes.
So they don't even have the program?
No, they don't even have the program.
That's a shame. That really is. Well, ladies, before we get to our break here, if someone would like to be involved, if someone would like more information, if someone would like to make a donation, if someone would like to volunteer their time, how do they get in touch with Catholic Charities of Baton Rouge?
It's real easy. Just go on our website. It's catholiccharities.br.org, and all the information is there on how to get involved.
And when we have one of these type of things, I always try to give a little instruction, because sometimes the nonprofit doesn't want to. If you needed more men's socks, you'd tell us.
Right.
What you really need right now is
money.
Money.
Yes, and money allows us, cash donations allow us to provide exactly what folks need. With disaster, you put out a call for men's socks, and an hour later you're swimming in that and you're running out of something else. But funding allows us to really stretch our dollars a long way for years later. We're in this for the long haul. Catholic Charities always is. Actually, we're still helping people recover from the 2016 floods.
Sure, I can believe that.
Yes.
But I because you're not a little teeny tiny mom and pop operation. You're a big operation. You're backed by the church, and as you said, you're in for a long haul. I also imagine that you all can get more for the $5 that I give you than I can get for $5. You've probably got some good volume buying contracts, or some local retailers who understand the need are giving you big discounts.
Yes, we do.
All right, one more time, tell them how to get in touch.
CatholicCharitiesBR.org.
CatholicCharitiesBR.org. And are there any skill sets that you need? Like, do you need, if there are volunteer carpenters or electricians or folks like that, do you need any of that for either now or from time to time?
Really, all skill sets are always welcome. So, all you need really is a heart to serve and some time on your hands, and we'll put you to work.
And I know you're very, very flexible with that type of thing. You don't say, I need you at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. No. You say, look, you volunteered and you have this skill set. What's good for you? We'll make it happen.
Absolutely.
It's been such a delight to have you here. Tell David, tell Carol, tell everybody over there that we're going to give them their shot here as well. But Lisa and Vickki from Catholic Charities of Baton Rouge doing the Lord's work in literacy and in disaster recovery. And we appreciate you joining us this morning on Exiles TV.
Thank you so much for having us.
We will be back to wrap up this hour and get into the next hour in just a moment. Stick around.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Rouge Jr., and I am a general dentist at Rouge Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles TV. Finally, a chance to talk a little bit of football. I was worried that we were ever going to get a chance to talk about football when we started this show back in March. So the internet is dogging Drew Brees. They say he's quote-unquote cooked. He says he feels borderline great. But, you know, again, this is after being absolutely killed by his own defense. They pretty much caused the loss to the Raiders on Monday Night Football. But I find it very interesting that this early in a season that has been shortened with the practice and conditioning interrupted by COVID, the idea that the quote-unquote collective football wisdom from posters on the internet say that he's all washed up, I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure that that is correct. I'm not sure it's valid. The opponent coming up this Sunday, Green Bay, their quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, who is no slouch, says, I think it's ridiculous. I really do. I don't think Drew Brees is quote-unquote cooked. He said, we're 2 weeks in. It's time to let things play out. Teams don't really figure out their identity until they've been at it, you know, until weeks into the season. And, of course, Brees understands that he's 41 years old, and he's certainly not going to have 10 more years. But what I saw, the offense played pretty darn well Monday night. The defense just couldn't get their stuff together. And, you know, they often say defense wins games. Well, defense can lose games as well. And it pretty much looked that way. By the way, he's completing 64.7% of his passes right now through 2 games. Now, that's a little less than the season average for the past 2 seasons. But again, the guy's got to catch the ball when he puts it in their hands. I saw a couple of those where how they drop the passes, I have no idea. But anyway, I don't think Drew is cooked. Now, on to LSU football. Monday, 25,000 fans in Tiger Stadium. I've heard, by the way, that ticket prices for Mississippi State are 3 times what the ticket prices were for the opening game last year. But the opening game last year was a rent-a-win. It wasn't an SEC opponent, and people are crazy saying, "Oh, it's awful. The opening game is never this much." Well, the opening game is also never a conference opponent that can give you a lot of trouble. I mean, it's not like Vanderbilt is coming in here. This is Mississippi State. But I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see what Tiger Stadium looks like on TV at 25% capacity. I don't think there was 25% capacity until like the middle of the fourth quarter against one of the rent-a-wins at the beginning of the season last year. That place is going to look vacant. It is going to look empty with 25% in Tiger Stadium. But that's what they got to go with. Also, the no tailgating thing, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that one. You know, I think they could have, I don't think they needed to jump off that cliff, to tell you the truth. I think that they could have allowed tailgating, particularly for those who already had the big parking permits and the RV permits, the veteran tailgaters, you know, with some rules and restrictions that they would all agree to in terms of distancing and things like that. I think that the economic impact in the Baton Rouge community is going to be so terribly adverse from having only 25% in the stadium and then saying no tailgating at all. When Paul Arrigo from Visit Baton Rouge was on with us last week, he said every game has about a $17 million economic impact outside of the stadium. That's food, that's drinks, that's restaurants, that's hotel stays, that's shopping at retail, that's hiring a caterer because you got a great big tailgate and you want, you know, food for 30 people. If we are allowing outdoor gatherings, well, I think we're allowing indoor gatherings, by the way, of up to 150 people during phase 3, why would you not allow tailgating? The economic impact is going to be absolutely horrid for the whole greater Baton Rouge area. I mean, I'm talking gasoline sales. I mean, if you are on the route from anywhere, if you're on a major highway, you live for football season, because when these people roll in these big RVs, what are those? What does it have, Marty? Like 80-gallon tanks in those big RVs? Yeah, your gas sales go up during a home game weekend. That's just one of the little areas that's going to get hurt real big in terms of the economics of this. I hope as we get a little further into the season, maybe they recondition this. But at any rate, I'm glad just to have the opportunity to talk football a little bit, even though it's a little later than we normally do. And of course, Southern, the SWAC has canceled their entire season, which is a shame. I know those players wanted to play. I know their fans wanted to see them play. And I thought they were a little premature in pulling the plug, but it is their decision. And so we'll look for them to come back better and stronger than ever next season. And in the alternative, I think they might have a spring season that they're going to do with the SWAC, which hopefully will work out for them. But anyway, when we come back, in our next hour, we'll take another look at news and weather and what's going on. But we'll also have with us Brad Harris with East Baton Rouge Parish EMS. You know, they have to gear up for home games, even if it's only at 25% capacity. He'll talk about what they're doing for LSU and also what they're doing for hurricane relief. A lot of their people are volunteering over in Lake Charles. Back in a moment on Exiles TV.
Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances. Your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Exiles TV coming your way right now. Glad to have you along with us. I'm Bill Profita. Kevin Gallagher taking a couple of days R&R. He'll be back with us next week for our regular broadcast. In this hour, we're going to catch up with Emergency Medical Services and how they prepare for the LSU football season, even if it's only at 25% of capacity. And also what they've been doing to assist the people in the Lake Charles area who have been devastated by Hurricane Laura. A lot of our men and women are volunteering their time to help out over there, and they're helping here with evacuees that have come and may have had medical problems. Brad Harris will be here, and he'll fill us in on everything that's going on. Well, things are getting, for those of you in New Orleans and Jefferson Parish, things are getting back to normal. Yeah. In the French Quarter. As normal as the French Quarter ever is. Police were called early Tuesday morning, around 7 a.m., to apprehend a bat-wielding man who was using the bat to smash the windows of vehicles and threatening people in loud, profanity-laced tirades, according to our friends at WWL. New Orleans police apprehended him and identified him as 24-year-old Joseph Capolo. Multiple victims witnessed his violent behavior. I love the way they write these things, by the way. Not sure I got all the words right, but I'm trying to cover my behind. Multiple victims spoke to police about Capolo's allegedly violent behavior. I don't think it was allegedly violent. I think it was actually violent. Now, he's not been found guilty of anything, but his behavior was not allegedly violent. It was pretty good and violent. One person says Capolo targeted him in the 900 block of Royal Street. He used racial slurs. He used curse words. And he told me he was going to take the bat and beat the whatever out of me and then kill me. The victim said that he parked his vehicle and went to get coffee. When he came back, his vehicle had been smashed with the aluminum bat. About $3,000 worth of damages, according to the victim's eye. Now, this wasn't an isolated incident. Other victims claimed that Coppola threatened them and bashed their vehicles that morning. At 3:30 p.m., a jogger reported he was struck 2 to 3 times in the back of the head with the green aluminum bat. He was treated by EMS at the scene for a laceration, according to New Orleans police. He was apprehended later on in the Bywater. He is a 24-year-old resident of Long Island. See what I mean about getting back to normal? People from up north come to New Orleans to get real intoxicated and act the fool. He was discovered next to his vehicle with the green aluminum baseball bat that everybody could describe. He was also captured on surveillance cameras committing multiple crimes throughout the following neighborhoods: the Bywater, the Marigny, and French Quarter. He was booked on aggravated battery and criminal damage to property charges. Actually, somebody witnessed it and whipped out their old camera phone, and they showed him smashing a truck with a bat in the French Quarter. So, yes, things are getting back. New Orleans doesn't have enough problems with New Orleanians going out of their minds in the French Quarter and committing crimes. We have to get the people that come from New York and Ohio and Illinois and Indiana and Pennsylvania who love to come down here and get all wired up and go on crime sprees. Good God Almighty. And what's interesting, it took the cops from 7 a.m. to about 4 p.m. to catch this guy. They had a description of him, of his green aluminum baseball bat. Note to you, Joseph, get one that looks like every other baseball bat. A bright green one is going to cause you problems. Too easy to identify. And they knew what his car looked like from witnesses. But yes, things are back to normal now in New Orleans because we have people coming in from other cities to act the fool in the city of New Orleans. My God in heaven. A little local news there. We are keeping an eye on our weather, by the way. Everybody, I'm talking about from Lafayette through the Baton Rouge area, the river parishes, the North Shore, and then into the greater New Orleans metro, all the way to the Mississippi border. Any amount of rain that would cause you problems should be ending by about 1 p.m. That's what the weather forecasters are telling us. It is going to remain cloudy, which will keep it cool. We will be lucky in most of the areas that I mentioned if we get to 81 degrees today. It'll be in the 60s overnight. And then mostly cloudy tomorrow with a little bit of sun breaking through sporadically in the afternoon. Tomorrow, throughout the viewing area, we should be looking at about 84. And even though it's going to threaten rain, the meteorologists all agree that we shouldn't see any appreciable rain through Saturday morning. And then they're telling us there's a nice cool front coming in to make it actually feel more like fall. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. For those of you watching the replay at 10 o'clock tonight, it's going to be mostly dark. Just want to let you know that. Back in a moment on Exiles TV.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. I'm Bill Profita. Kevin Gallagher taking a couple of days off. He will be back with us next week. I have some more information on the demonstrations in Louisville over the grand jury non-indictments of the Louisville police officers in the shooting death of Breonna Taylor. As we said earlier, yesterday afternoon, late in the day, the grand jury came back and indicted only one officer who has been fired, by the way. He's a former officer, Brett Hankinson, for 3 counts of wanton endangerment. They are not related to the shooting of Breonna Taylor. He was there. He fired his weapon recklessly into a neighboring apartment. The people took to the streets of Louisville because they were not happy with the grand jury investigation and the indictment. The Attorney General for the state of Kentucky, who is a very well-respected Attorney General and also happens to be an African American, went to the press conference and gave the information personally and said, look, there are no charges supported under Kentucky law other than this one. And this former officer has been charged with the things that are legal, with what charges are supported under Kentucky law. And I know many of you are not going to like it, but there never was a first-degree murder charge that would have been supported by this. Just like the people in the case of the fellow in Minneapolis, George. This opportunistic, in my opinion, attorney, Benjamin Crump, who runs to all of these scenes and tells the family he's representing them and says, first-degree murder, first-degree murder. If he actually did graduate from law school and pass the bar in some jurisdiction, I'm amazed, because first-degree murder requires prior intent and premeditation. So even though the fellow in Minneapolis was definitely killed by police officers, no doubt about that, a first-degree murder charge would never have been supported, ever, not in any jurisdiction in this country. And what you're doing when you say things like that is you're taking people who really don't know anything other than they're being told by an attorney that this guy should be tried for first-degree murder. Anyway, so a suspect has been identified for shooting 2 Louisville police officers last night in the demonstrations. He is, I guess you would say this, Lorenzo, L-A-R-Y-N-Z-O, Lorenzo Johnson. The 2 officers suffered non-life-threatening injuries. One officer alert and stable, the other one undergoing surgery as of this morning. Now, here is what is interesting. Mr. Johnson will face charges of first-degree assault of a police officer and first-degree wanton endangerment. The same charge the grand jury came back with against the former officer, Brett Harkinson. Now, let me say this again real slowly and see if you catch this. Lorenzo Johnson, who was charged with shooting 2 Louisville police officers, will face charges of first-degree assault of a police officer and first-degree wanton endangerment. Why is he not being charged with attempted murder of a police officer? Are they trying to throw this guy a cookie? Why is he not being charged with attempted murder? Anybody want to speculate? He's a 26-year-old Louisville resident, by the way, and he just joined the demonstration and decided to pull the trigger on a couple of cops. And is this one of these great throw them a cookie type of thing, a great equalizer? First-degree wanton endangerment and first-degree assault of a police officer. No attempted murder of a police officer. I would like to hear the explanation for that. I would really like to hear if he walks up to people who are wearing a uniform and just because they're wearing a uniform, he fires at them and hits them. How is that not attempted murder? How is that simple first-degree? How is that first-degree assault? I just, the world has really, 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 really come off the rails with this stuff. You know, charge the crime that actually happened. Don't charge something that you think will make everybody a little more calm about this. I got big news. The people who are in the street in Louisville who do not want to accept their own elected attorney general's explanation for what happened in the grand jury room with the bill of information that the grand jury came back with the indictment they came back with after hearing witnesses and questioning witnesses themselves, if they don't like that, charging the guy who shot 2 police officers during the demonstration is not going to change their minds about anything. In fact, if you undercharge people who assault police officers or shoot police officers, I think you're asking for a whole lot more trouble, my opinion. We'll be back in a moment. We'll be talking, well, somebody get out of that truck's way. We'll be back in a minute. We'll be talking to East Baton Rouge Parish EMS on Exiles TV. Stick around. We are back. Apparently, we're just gonna skip through that break. Once again, you get to look behind the curtain. Marty's giving me this, the floor director. If you don't know, I don't know. Oh, it's the computer. Did you reboot it? Isn't that what they always say? Try a hard stop and reboot it. All right, so for those of you at home or wherever, are we going to try to take this break once the computer reboots? What are we going to do here? All right, so I'll just kill a little more time here. This Breonna Taylor thing really, really saddens me a great deal, and I'll tell you why. This woman should be alive today. She should be walking around and doing her job and living her life. And they had the wrong address on the warrant, and all hell broke loose. The one thing I've noticed that throughout all of this, they want police officers to be, given lethal injections. They want them arrested and indicted and all this. Nobody is looking at who innocently put the wrong address on the warrant. Isn't that person responsible? If I send a no-knock team, heavily armed, expecting possible armed resistance, to the wrong address because I wasn't paying attention, or I was on my cell phone, or I was negligent, do I not share responsibility for the consequences that happened after that? And as I said, nobody is going back. Nobody is saying who asked for the warrant, who typed it up, what judge signed it. All of these people had an opportunity to examine the address. And nobody is talking about the person who put the wrong address on the paper that the cops had in their hands when they went through that door with a battering ram. And I have to wonder why nobody is talking about that particular person. And I have a pretty good assumption as to why. I'll keep that to myself until I can find out for sure. All right, a quick break, and then we're back in a moment on Exiles TV.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back. Along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together. South Louisiana's talk team. And it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Back to Exiles TV. So glad you are with us on this Thursday morning. Joining us now, Lieutenant Brad Harris, who is with East Baton Rouge Parish EMS. We like to check with them to get an idea of how things are going for emergency responders, not just in East Baton Rouge Parish, because a lot of this stuff follows trends all over South Louisiana. Brad, glad to have you along with us.
Thanks for having me again.
So one of the things you all are doing now is you're preparing for an LSU home game. And I know that all the first responders, all the agencies have a plan about that thick for LSU home games. And I'm guessing it's probably not 25% as thick.
Correct. So, in years past, and typically what we do is we plan for these events way ahead of time. We have a set staffing schedule, number of employees that we employ to man these events. We've been having weekly meetings with LSU recently just to kind of go over what we're going to plan for this coming up weekend. We did find out that there's supposedly going to be no tailgating, 25% capacity. So how that's going to impact us, we're not quite sure yet. We're going to staff the game as usual this time around, and we'll kind of adjust if we need for the upcoming games.
Give me an idea of what usual staffing is for an LSU home game, because we normally, with the full stadium and the tailgating, we become like,
another city.
Another city and a large one.
Yeah. So typically what we'll do for a home game for LSU is we have a medical trailer and a staff with a doctor and as well as paramedics, and then we have some volunteers that come help us as well. If we have a medical emergency at the stadium, we have these, what they're called ASAP carts. They're like little 4x4 vehicles with stretchers on them. If we get a 911 call or a call for assistance around the stadium, that cart will go treat the patient on scene with 2 paramedics, and then they'll bring the patient to the trailer. They're rendered first aid at the trailer. A doctor, looks at them, and if they need to be transported out, then we'll transport them by ambulance. Typically, so we'll have the trailer set up at the corner of Nicholson and South Stadium, and then we have 2 ambulances, 2 of those carts, and then we have bicycle teams where it's manned. You have partners, and they're on bicycles and they have gear, and they can get through the crowds a lot easier and that sort of thing. So normally we have anywhere between 12 and 20 medics working the event.
And when it's really, really crowded, when it's really, really dense,
right?
I would imagine response time can be kind of tricky.
It can be, and not only just the response time as far as getting from one side of the campus to the other through the crowd, but also people who call 911 they don't really give us a good location sometimes. They say, hey, we're by a motorhome. We have a purple and gold tent. Come look for us, So sometimes our medics are in the area. We're circling looking for them. We can't find them, so it might take us a little longer. And, we're looking for somebody to wave at us or something. So that's a little bit of it. And then there's certain times of the day. So when the band's coming down the hill, for instance, there's no way that we're going to be able to get to a call right there in front of the stadium because it's just so congested. Granted, we do have those calls, and we get there as quickly as we can, but we just have to adapt to whatever happens. So.
In addition to the priority emergency calls, which somebody needs to get there now.
Right.
Somebody's got chest pain. Somebody's got trouble breathing. Somebody maybe heat stroking out, that type of thing. Do you all do a lot of the bumps and bruises and cuts and scrapes? And
oh, absolutely. Trips and falls, people, they're not paying attention. They'll trip over a curb. They'll, trip over an ice chest or whatnot. We have that a lot.
Trip over a bottle of booze.
You know, they and a funny thing is too is we hand out a lot of Band-Aids for blisters on heels. You know, people, they go out there to have a good time, they dress cute and they wear heels, and then they realize they have a blister at the end of the day. So we hand out a lot of Band-Aids. You know, but that's what we're there for. You know, anything that you need, we're there to respond. So
A number of years ago, I'm thinking this is probably 6-7 years ago, an acquaintance of mine actually had a massive cardiac arrest, and fortunately he was just outside the stadium. They had left their seats.
Yeah.
And it was bad enough that EMS called in AirMed to get him out of there. If somebody has one of these giant life or death events and they're in their seats in the stadium,
In the stadium, yeah.
that's got to be difficult to provide effective treatment in that confined space.
Correct. So they have volunteers throughout I guess they're volunteers, I'm not quite sure, but anyway, they have people inside the stadium that will actually physically go get the person out of the stand, bring them to a medical room. They can be treated in the room and then transported out from there if they need to.
Well, and you not that you need it, but sometimes it's good to have it. You probably have on any given day 400 or 500 doctors and nurses at LSU for these games.
Correct. That happens a lot. We have bystanders that come help us out. They'll tell us, hey, I'm a doctor, or I'm a nurse, and we do appreciate their help. As much as, you know, we need them, we can definitely use them.
So as we prepare for 25% capacity, for the first one at the very least, you're going to go as if it were a regular game with full seats and full tailgating.
It's better to plan for more than less. You know, we don't want to get out there and then realize our resources are stretched thin. So we're just going to plan to, you know, do business as usual. And, you know, if we find that we can adapt to that, we will. I think there's going to be some changes. I'm not quite sure exactly what LSU's planning to do, but I don't want to speak for them. But I do know that our medics in particular are going to have to do temperature checks and that sort of thing, coronavirus screenings before they go into the stadium. So that's something that we're having to do. I don't know about the general public. So that's just one added layer of protection.
Well, I think the general public is all going to have their temperature taken, and they're going to get some sort of
like a bracelet or something
on their phone with their ticket. They will be able to show somebody it's barcoded that they had the screening before they even go to have their ticket screened.
Well, I guess I don't know much about that, but that seems logical, I guess. And then they're going to do the spacing, and I heard, that they're going to, you know, have a group of people, and they'll have a certain amount of spaces or rows between them, so everybody's going to be spread out inside.
Yeah, you can sit with your family unit if you're all in the same household normally.
Right.
And there's 6 of you, you'll be able to sit 6 together.
Yeah.
But if it's 2 families, you know, or two factions of one family, even though they're related and they don't live in the same space, they're going to have to be separated.
Spread them out, yeah. It's going to be different for sure. We'll just have to see what happens. I mean, it's going to be unusual to see an empty campus.
Highest percentage when you have one of these big events, you know, where, you know, fortunately, we don't have really, really hot weather, but usually, first couple games, you're just roasting. What affects people most and gets them to your attention during those crowded, hot games? Is it a heat-related type of thing, or do people forget their asthma medicine? What do you see most?
Yeah, I guess the first few games, definitely, we do have a lot more heat-related calls. Normally, it's you know, 80 degrees outside, and especially the poor people sitting on the east side of the
sunny
stadium,
side. Oh, that's awful.
The sunny side. So we do get a lot of that. If you're alcohol intoxication calls, we get those a lot. Trips, falls, things like that. That's normally what we end up with. And then, you know, we do have a lot of elderly folks that, you know, they'll start having some chest pain, or they have to walk a distance to their vehicle, and, you know, they sit down and take a break and they have trouble breathing. So we get those kind of calls. And if we are activated to go out there and check you out, and if you don't want to go to the hospital, you know, we'll have you sign something saying that you refuse transport, and we'll offer you a ride back to your vehicle. So that's kind of like a public service that we do sometimes out there.
Do we have yet, because years ago, before I realized that I was going to need heart bypass surgery, Karen and I were walking through one of those big parking lots after a game, and I got this, I don't feel so well. And Karen said, how would I tell EMS where we are? We're in the middle of a parking lot.
Exactly.
Do I say, come down the lane with the red car on the end, take a left, and we're by the fourth beige car? Do we have yet where if you've got a GPS-equipped phone, and I can't imagine who doesn't,
right, these days,
where you can locate, or police can locate, or fire can locate somebody based on their phone is just being on and they're talking to 911?
Right. So my personal experience, just with dealing with the 911 center and cell phone technology, when you call 911 from a cell phone, it does show up on a map. They'll show you kind of like a geographical location of where you're located.
Mm-hmm.
If it is a large parking lot, or if you're moving, you can call and you can walk away, and so there's lots of variables to it. I would say just look for a landmark. If you're in a big, parking lot, look for a tree, look for, something, a flag, and then look for us. If you see us coming, if you see lights, wave at us, flag us down. Our bicycle teams, they're wearing bright yellow T-shirts, so you should be able to see them coming. So,
what else if you're in, if you're at a big crowded event? Yes, we'll be having them again, folks. Have faith. But if you're at LSU and you feel bad and you need to call EMS.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, don't go looking for somebody. Call 911, right?
Correct. Yeah, definitely call us. I mean, you could go try to flag somebody down, but just get somebody's attention. There's plenty of staff out there. Landmark Security is out there every year. LSU Police. There should be somebody in the vicinity that could locate us.
What kind of information should you give the 911 operator? Should you give him a good description? It's a male. He's 50 years old. He's 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
He's Caucasian. He's wearing a purple shirt and,
yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Right, I know exactly what you mean. So yeah, just a good location of the patient, some kind of type of landmark to where we can look for a red truck or what the case may be, and then what they look like. There's a guy, passed out under a tree, and we're circling around looking at every tree looking for a guy. So we just need as detailed as possible for a location.
And if you're a family member, if I am calling about Karen, do I say, well, she's been complaining of a headache for 2 hours? Does the 911 operator need to know that?
Yeah, that's important information. So all of our 911 operators are either EMTs or paramedics. They have medical knowledge. So if you tell them specifically, like they're vomiting, they're having chest pain, these sort of things, they might be able to tell you something to do before we get there. They might say give them an aspirin, or they might tell you some way to treat them before we get there. And it also gives us a little bit of heads up so we know what we're expecting when we go in. We have computers that give us the information, so it'll say it's a 50-year-old male, he's had chest pain for 2 hours, he took an aspirin. We kind of get that. So before I even get there, I've already got in my head kind of what I'm looking for. So
we're going to continue with Lieutenant Brad Harris of East Baton Rouge EMS, talking about what they've been doing, and we're going to get a little bit about what kind of calls they've been going on and how they've been helping the folks with Hurricane Laura. Right after this break, we'll be back in a moment on Exiles TV.
Taste the feeling.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with the Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruget Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bud Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bud Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Welcome back. This is Exiles TV. I'm Bill Profita, Kevin Gallagher, taking a little time off. Joining me today, Lieutenant Brad Harris from East Baton Rouge EMS. We're talking about how they prepare for big events like LSU games. I'm wondering, we have a lot of evacuees still in Baton Rouge. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of, I call them foreign because they're not from here, power crews.
Yeah.
And people like that are staying in hotels here, and they'll go in and work, 24 hours in Lake Charles, and they'll come back here. Are you all giving them a lot of medical attention? Are you kind of like standing by for the refugees and all these folks?
No, we're not right now. Unlike, Katrina and I guess it was Gustav, we had the River Center opened up shelters. Yes. And Celtic Media opened up shelters, and we did staff medics at those shelter locations. For this latest Hurricane Laura, the evacuees have been put into hotels. That's private property. We don't actually have anybody staffed there. If they call 911 or they need an ambulance, we'll respond, but we don't have anybody standing by. As far as our response to Laura, initially it was coming right for us.
Yeah.
So we ramped up. I mean, the Mayor's Office of Homeland Security opened up their emergency center. We had a medic staff there to answer phone lines and things like that. And fortunately, we dodged that one, and they closed that down pretty quickly. But a few days after Laura hit Lake Charles, we have an urban search and rescue team in Louisiana. So we supplied them with a couple of paramedics and an ambulance, and they went down to Lake Charles for a week and helped them out there. They're back now. We haven't done anything for Sally that I know of. We've kind of been left out on that one. So we've dodged quite a few bullets this year with these storms, Marco, and yeah, exactly. Knock on some wood. So
I didn't realize that EMS had an urban search and rescue team. So what is it? How is it equipped, and what do you do?
Right. It's not actually our team. It's I guess it's through the state, but I'm not really too familiar with it, honestly. But it's members.
State Fire Marshal runs.
I believe it's the Fire Marshal's office. There's different regions. So our region, I think it's 4 maybe. I'm probably wrong on that, but basically if they get called up, the medics that have been involved with that team will go down. They just have specialized training for urban search and rescue. That means high water rescues. That means searching buildings that might have some structural problems with them. That's just hazardous situations that they're trained to go into. And if there's anything in the region, per se, like Charles, New Orleans, that sort of thing, medics and firemen and things like that from Baton Rouge area will go help out.
So what is EMS looking for as we go toward the end of the year? I mean, everybody has been working differently because of COVID.
Correct.
We also have a population that fortunately seems to be getting less COVID and less serious COVID. But I know your resources, like everybody else, were very, very stretched during the first 6 months of this.
Right.
So what's it look like for EMS? And we're going to assume that it looks the same way for EMS in New Orleans and in Lafayette and Acadiana. What are you looking at as we get to the end of this god-awful year?
We have definitely seen a decline in COVID calls. We still get them. Our 911 operators are still screening for that, so they'll ask if you have a cough and that sort of thing, a fever. But we don't treat those calls any differently. All of our medics are required to wear face masks and respirators whenever they have patient contact, so that will protect them. If it is a suspected COVID patient, they'll obviously isolate themselves and the patient and that sort of thing, and they'll alert the hospital before we get there. But we had initially started with a couple of what we called COVID trucks. These trucks had plastic sheeting. The driver's compartment was separated from the back. We had extra disinfectant stuff on it. We did that for a few months, but as the numbers declined, we were able to get rid of that program. So now all of our trucks are just equipped to deal with it if it happens. Since all of our events have kind of dried up other than LSU right now, we're working really hard just on recruiting new employees and that sort of thing. I don't know if it's set in stone yet, but I heard that maybe after the first of the year we might be able to hire some more employees and that sort of thing. So we're trying to definitely hit recruiting hard. We have our Facebook page and that sort of thing where we're trying to recruit paramedics.
Do you do an academy like police and fire do for the people who want to be paramedics and work with East Baton Rouge Parish EMS?
Currently, we do have an academy that's ending right now. The medics that are coming out of that are getting their paramedic licenses, and they're coming onto the streets to work for us. Right now, it's kind of up in the air what the next class is going to look like, if there's going to be a next class. I'll definitely keep you updated on that. But there's, you can look online. There's classes everywhere if you want to become a paramedic in the region. Not necessarily so much in Baton Rouge. I believe there's one called NIMSA. But down the street from us, out in Chalmette, I think there's Nunez College. They have Delgado in New Orleans. So there are paramedic programs available. But EMS's class right now is ending.
But everybody has to have the same national certification, national licensing exam.
You have to have a national license from NREMT, and then you also have to have a state license that says that you can practice in the state of Louisiana. If you move to Texas or if you're coming from a different state or whatnot, you'd actually have to go get a card for each state that you want to work in.
And I would assume you have to renew this. It's not a lifetime ticket.
A couple years, every 2 years you have to. You have to go through refresher classes. We're always having to learn. It's a never-ending process. I mean, new medications come out all the time, new procedures and that sort of thing as the science becomes available. We've added a lot more equipment to our trucks. We have some ventilators now on our ambulances that we didn't have before. We have some what's like CPR devices. The Lucas device is an automatic CPR machine. So whenever we get these new pieces of equipment, the staff has to come in and train on it. So we're always learning.
We had on Tuesday Lieutenant Brian Taylor, who is the deputy commander for all of the uniform patrol in Baton Rouge. And he was telling us, and I'd forgotten, that pretty much everybody that's in a prowl car and wears a uniform now carries a medical kit.
Yeah.
I would assume that you all are glad because they're often, since they're not in stations, they're often there first.
They do get there a lot faster than us on some occasions. They do have medical kits. A lot of it started, I believe, with the opioid epidemic. They started wanting to carry the Narcan. And then with the science coming out with tourniquets, they added tourniquets to their kits, and then chest seals for gunshot wounds. And so their kits have kind of started growing. And,
let me ask you before we wrap it up in the segment. The coroner tells us that our opioid overdose rate is still high and climbing, that COVID really didn't slow it down. Are your young men and young women out there that are working real hard in the streets, are they giving a lot of Narcan?
Yeah, still. We are. It's you hear overdose calls come out every day. I don't know.
Now, and again, I don't know whether it's true or not, because you never know what you're getting when you're buying drugs on the street.
Correct.
I mean, it is playing Russian roulette with 3 rounds in the chamber, not one.
It really is.
I have heard that there is some of the synthetic fentanyl that Narcan doesn't work on.
I've not heard that, but what I think it is it's just such a high potency of the medication that you might have to give multiple doses of the Narcan.
Scary stuff.
It really is.
Scary stuff. Brad, always good to have you on with us. Tell everybody back at EMS headquarters that I said hello.
Sure will.
And we'll be checking with you again. We might check with you a couple, 3 weeks into the home game season and see how it's working out at LSU.
Hopefully I have some good news.
Brad Harris, Lieutenant Brad Harris, with East Baton Rouge Parish EMS. We've got one more segment to go, but first a commercial break. Stick around on Exiles TV.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Rouge Jr., and I am a general dentist at Rouge Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
Welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us this morning. Rain should be ending very, very shortly, but we're still going to stay cloudy through most of the rest of the week into Saturday. But they're saying, hey, from Lafayette all the way to New Orleans area, we shouldn't be getting any more rain. And if we do, it will not be significant as it was yesterday. A reminder, if you want to watch us again, 10 o'clock tonight on this very channel, if you're watching us on ATT Uverse or Cox or Allen Cable or over the air on KPBN TV, we'll be back at 10 o'clock to do it all over again. And you might want to, listen to Lieutenant Harris again about EMS, and they are recruiting. I'm going to get all the information from Brad Harris, who was our last guest, and from time to time during the show, we will provide you with that website. If you think you'd like to be a paramedic working for EMS in Baton Rouge. They are, in fact, recruiting, and we'll get you the information. You can see if you qualify, and you can take it from there. I love these kind of stories before we head on out of here. An asteroid the size of a school bus is headed toward Earth. Now, this is the way that phrase is always followed, but don't worry. NASA says the space rock will zoom right past us today. Now, this is a newly discovered asteroid, by the way. They didn't know about this one. It's going to come within 13,000 miles of Earth, well below many of the communication satellites orbiting the planet. The closest approach will be over the southeastern Pacific Ocean, and I guess that's late morning there, so a couple of hours from now. Once it's gone, we will not see it again until 2041. The scientists estimate the asteroid is between 15 and 30 feet length and width. By asteroid standards, that's considered very small. Now, asteroids of this size hit Earth's atmosphere and burn up once every year or two, according to Paul Chodas, who is the director of the Center for Near-Earth Object Studies at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. There could be as many as 100 million of these little asteroids out there. The real threat is the asteroids that are considerably larger, according to Mr. Chodas. The good news is that these are easier to spot much sooner than just a few days out. This asteroid, by the way, is called 2020 SW, and it was first observed last Friday by the Sky Survey Group at the University of Arizona in Tucson. Now, they always have these stories that it's coming toward Earth, and then they say, but it's going to miss us. What they never tell you is what would happen if it hit. Now, this thing, is coming in at very, very high velocity. So the ballistic impact of this, if it happened, let's say, 20 miles south of the Louisiana coast, would it cause a big surge, 2 or 3 feet, if it went into the Gulf of Mexico at that speed? If it hit, 5 miles south of the city of Baton Rouge, would windows get broken? Would there be a giant smoking hole? They never tell us what's going to happen. And I guess that's probably best. Look, we are very near the end here. Make sure you join me tomorrow morning for the Morning Exiles podcast, live from La Divina Restaurant. We will be back. Kevin will be along with us when we come back on Tuesday. And in the meantime, have a very, very good weekend. Keep an eye on the skies. See if something develops in the tropics over the weekend. I don't think there's anything to worry about right now, but hey, they come very, very quickly. So I wish you well. I want you to stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great weekend. We'll be back with you on Tuesday on Exiles TV. Thanks for being with us.